Hey Chip, how you doing? I can see that you guys are getting a mirror view on the video. Can I change that whilst it's live, or do I have to? Can I only do that afterwards? Why is that, Chip? Are you a technophobe? Fair enough. Well, I've been waiting to have a pipe today. I have not yet had a pipe. I thought I'd wait till London calling. I've got my rosebud. I think this is very close to being my number one OGS pipe now. It looks left. Okay, I wear it on my left, so that's good. That's my left hand. So when I look at my screen next to me, it's showing it on the right of the screen. But I suppose it's a mirror image, is correct, I guess. Bandit Beggars. How you doing? Hi, Tinker. Is that Tinker as in Jim or somebody else? Thomas. I mean, yeah, sorry. Hooligan is Jim, isn't it? I haven't seen him actually for a while. Is he alright? How you doing, Thomas? I haven't seen you for a while either. I know it's between the two of you, it's Jim and Thomas. I might get you mixed up, but I know it's you two because you came at the same time. Jim, I believe, if I remember correctly, Jim introduced you to our channel, which was very nice of him. And it's been really nice getting to know you. Hi David, how you doing? Hope that thing sorted itself out. It's an Apple Watch. Tonight, of course, it's my rosebud and OGS, of course. Alright, it is coming up okay, that's fine. That's good, David, that's good. My first pipe of the day. It's gone past midnight and I haven't had a pipe. I haven't had a pipe since Friday afternoon. Well, it's as good as it's going to get, I think. Yes, OGS. Unfortunately, my mum is back in hospital and she's not doing very well. Thank you, David. She's been sort of on and off battling with a situation for a few years now, and it's kind of it's coming to a head now. We can hope and pray, which we will. See how it goes. I was thank you. You lost your mum last year. Well, sorry to hear that, Bandit. You guys may remember when I first started making pipes, Ian Walker of Northern Briars was very helpful, and he sold me 20 blocks of briar. To get me going. I got through those really quickly. Thank you, Bandit. He then agreed to sell me another 10, and then after that I didn't feel I could ask him anymore. I got through those 9 of them, and I kept 1 block. There you can see Northern Briars NB, and January 2019 is when I got it. So it's nearly 4 years since I've had it, and he's had it a long time. I mean, the blocks that he got came from James Upshall. Many of you guys will be familiar with the name. And I believe he got them from Barry Jones, who worked at James Upshall. He was the main carver. And James Upshall was about to go belly up. He was about to go bankrupt. And Moti Ezrati, or Mordecai Ezrati, an Israeli guy who was living in England, he bought the company. He was a wealthy man. He was a successful real estate property investor or whatever, and he was financially successful, and he bought the company. And although it wasn't financially viable, he bought it because he didn't want the company to disappear. He obviously he was into the hobby, he loved it, and he didn't want James Upshall company to go and disappear. So he bought the company, and Barry Jones, he gave Barry Jones a wage, regardless of whether there was profit or not, and they kept it going for a while. All right, Todd, wish you better. And they kept the company going for a while. Hi, Jeff. Now, I don't know if the company closed beforehand because it wasn't working financially, or if it closed because Moti Ezrati passed away. He died very suddenly. I think he had a heart attack and he died. And he wasn't an old man. So I don't know if one predated the other, or if one was the result of the other. I don't know. But in any event, the James Upshall Pipe Company closed, and they had a few thousand blocks of briar, and I believe Ian Walker bought the whole lot, something like either 3,000 or 5,000 blocks, something like that. And I think he's still making pipes from those blocks. I mean, he uses other blocks as well, but as far as I know. But certainly the blocks that came from that batch will be very, very well aged. You'd be talking 20, 30 years easily. So out of the 30 blocks that I bought from Ian, one left, and I've promised myself that I'm going to make myself a pipe from it. And I've kept it always separate, make sure that I don't make a pipe out of it by mistake, to sell or whatever. What makes me very nervous is that because it's the last one, when I do decide to cut into it, if there's some massive flaw or something like that, I'm very worried about that. But other than that, it's an unremarkable block. The grain on it is nothing special, but the age of it, you know, it doesn't actually even feel that light. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of pipe it makes. Hey, Aldrock. So I've got a few tobaccos that I need to try. I've got this LJ Peretti's 150th anniversary, which Andrew Sirigliano sent me. I've got this lovely 16-ounce tin of London Flake, which I have to decide if I'm going to open it and jar it or not. Andrew said it's okay for a few months, but they're not airtight. So at some point I'll need to jar it. I haven't the foggiest idea, Bandit, what pipe I would want out of it. I really don't know. It's a decent sized block, so I could pretty much do any kind of pipe that I want. I could try and make something really special, like a shield. I could do a shield out of that. There's enough there, and there's a nice bird's eye there, really tight bird's eye. The plateau is very tight, so that'll make a nice bird's eye on it. But to be honest, the likelihood is that I'll want to make a pipe that I'll be able to smoke on a daily basis. The shield pipes are really nice, but they're kind of specialty pipes. So maybe just another bent billiard, or you know, something like this. I'm really enjoying this pipe. It's smoking really well. It's very difficult to know how much the shape of a pipe contributes to the quality of the smoke, because ultimately it's obviously the briar itself which is going to be the biggest contributory factor to a good smoke. But it's very possible that the shape of the pipe also contributes. It's very hard to quantify that. But as I say, the ones that I smoke are my LCS pipes that I smoke. They're all the 626, which is actually a similar shape kind of thing. Bulldogs are not really my thing, Bandit. So that's the 626, which smokes excellent. Very good smoker, OGS. This one also smokes OGS very well. One of my very early pipes. This bent billiard. This used to be my number one, kind of still is my number one OGS pipe, but I think these latest group of LCS pipes have kind of overtaken it, mainly because I just like the look of them more. This one here, I just brought this in on Friday. I brought all my shop pipes into the office here, well, my workshop now. This one is a quick smoke. It's got a small bowl, and I smoked this Friday afternoon actually. Excuse me, and it tastes wonderful in there. I did originally use this pipe for OGS, the one with the amber flame, but it didn't smoke so well, at least not immediately. And I started smoking Latakia, and Latakia is fantastic in there, so I'm going to keep it as a Latakia pipe probably. Yeah. That'll probably be really nice, Jeff. It really will probably be very nice. As I've said before, I don't know what age this tin was. I mean, I've got written on it April 20. So you can see, I've actually, each time I refilled the jar, I wrote the date down and crossed out the previous dates. So there's a good chance that this is actually accurate. The first one was January 19. Next one was May 2021. And then the last number, which hasn't been crossed out, is April 20. So that's what I've always said. 18 months to 2 years, 3 years age is the best, to my experience, for OGS. I actually installed a keyboard drawer the other day, which was very convenient. Hi, Daniel. Wool cabinet to hold my pipes. Not really. I'm still using the shelf unit that I got from the guy that made these pipe shelves, and I've still got another one of these. I'm still using that. They're pretty good, I have to say. I mean, they might not be the last word in pipe shelves, but actually, for the money, I think they're great. They're really good. I mean, to buy dedicated pipe cabinets, it's not cheap. They're really expensive to buy decent ones. So this one is very, very efficient at what it does. No frills. There's no door on it. I suppose I could just make a door on it. As I say, I've got two of them, so I could probably put some. I don't really have the room anymore in here, but if I would put one on top of the other and then make doors, it would look really nice. I suppose I could put it next to it as well. Just going along here, I've got room for that. But thankfully, the latest version of my dust extraction is actually working very well. And everything is not covered in a layer of dust. There is some dust, but it's really not as bad as I thought it would be. Pipes of old, how are you doing? Well, Josh was going to make me one, pipe grump, but I think we both agreed that it would be very impractical to ship it over. I mean, the only real way of doing it would be to make it, take it apart, and send it flat packed, which I'd be okay with that, but I think we've kind of let that one go by. I started working on a pipe earlier this evening. Which should be hopefully a very interesting pipe when it's done. It's proving to be quite challenging to do this bottom half, and it'll be interesting to see how the sanding goes on the top half. It's got some fantastic grain on it, so I really want to do it justice. I may end up rusticating this bottom half and then making that smooth, which sanding wise is going to be a real task, but I still think it's worth it because it's got a really nice grain, and the stem on it is amazing, absolutely amazing stem. It's going to be an LCS wave. I could probably find it in my emails. There's pipe rack information. It was quite a while ago, wasn't it, with these racks. York Bazaar, that's who it is. York Bazaar. Let me see if I can find him on Instagram. Can't see him on Instagram. Let's have a look online. York Bazaar pipe rack. I think you can get them on Amazon. Oh, it says currently unavailable. I wonder if he's still doing them. It's York Bazaar, yeah. I don't know how you contact him. Robert Lewis 123 mix. I think I've tried that. I think I've got an open tin of it in one of my Tupperware containers. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't something which blew me away. It's really hard because I'm so sort of devoted to Northwoods and Special Latakia Flake. It would be really hard for me to enjoy anything else, really. It would have to be something very much up my street. I enjoy, for instance, McClellan's Balkan Blue, but again, it's not something that I would, if I was smoking a Latakia on a regular basis, I still wouldn't smoke that. It's nice, I enjoy it, it's smooth, it's a very nice quality blend, but my favourite smoke for 22 Bandit would have to be OGS, more than anything else that I've smoked this year so far. I've gone through a lot of tins already, and it used to be really unusual for me to do that. I could open something and it would sit there for months and months and months, and I'd rarely finish a tin. But OGS, I've literally been going tin after tin after tin. So I've become a bit of a codger when it comes to OGS. You know, when you're smoking quality blends like English mixtures, like 123 mixture, you know, you're talking about quality tobaccos with no aromatics in them, and it's just tobacco, good rich blends of tobacco. When you go to something like Cult Blood Red Moon, I'm not going to criticize it because I actually smoked it for a long time and I enjoyed it. And occasionally I'll still have a bowl, but it's not something that I could smoke on a regular basis. It's because it's too much of a goopy, sticky, artificial smoke. That's, it's not even goopy and sticky really. It's a bit sticky to hold, to touch, but once it's in the thing, it burns very well. But it's just too artificial. That's my problem. It's a nice flavor. It's like a cherry chocolate kind of flavor. But it's just a little bit too artificial for me. OGS, I buy it from smokingpipes.com. Or you can buy it from Estivals in Europe, in Germany. Smoking Pipes have finished their 100-gram tins again. The other day they only had 50-gram tins, which I don't really like getting. I ordered one. I ordered some cigars, and I ordered one tin to go with it. I saw that Sergeant Savinelli put up a video. I haven't watched it yet. If you do order from smokingpipes.com, don't order a huge amount. Just order 1 or 2 tins and no more. Hey, Tex and Piper. Because then you'll get stopped by customers. If you order 1 or 2 tins and then get them shipped on the economy international shipping, it'll only cost you $6 or $7. And it usually takes a week or two and it gets through no problem. The key is not to be greedy, not to order 4 or 5 tins, because then you will get stopped and you'll have to pay the tax. Just order, if you can, hold yourself to it, just order 1 tin at a time. And you can just keep ordering 1 tin at a time, and maybe 1 tin of 50 grams, you'll only pay $3 or $4, and just do multiple orders, and they'll send them separately. Yeah, I think they're about $10 for a 50-gram tin. It's half the price. So even if you pay another $2 or $3, $4 for shipping 1 tin, it's still worth it. I think I've tried the Dark Strong. I'm not sure. And I think I have a pouch of their aromatic, I think, somewhere, but I never tried it. If you do an order from Smoking Pipes, try Kramer's Father Dempsey. I think that would be up your street if you like the 1, 2, 3 mixture. Again, 1 tin at a time and see how you get on. I'm assuming that you're in the UK, Bandit. Unless you're in the States, then you have no issue. Then order as much as you like. I was just reading between the lines of your comments, and I've made an assumption. I might be totally wrong. You are UK, okay. I wouldn't say that I've stockpiled, but I've kept stuff that I've bought over the few years that I've been buying tobacco. So I have some McClellan tins and I have some Esoterica stuff, but I wouldn't say I've stockpiled. At one stage I did have a lot of McClellan tobaccos, but I sold most of them. But I would still have. I've probably still got somewhere between 10 and 15 tins of it. Are you on any of the Facebook groups, UK groups, Bandit? It's probably not going to be worth your while to send it outside of the UK if it's just one tin. So if you put a post up on any of the Facebook groups, I'm sure you'll be taken up on it straight away. So, in case you guys haven't seen, I did a very interesting commission this week. Hey, Patrick. Somebody commissioned me to do a custom-built replica, and he sent me a bunch of pictures of a pipe. And I made that. I mean, in the beginning, I must be honest, when I first saw custom-built pipes, I never got it. You know, I never understood why you'd buy such an ugly kind of thing, where you've got a bull, say a bulldog or an author or something like that, and then what I call dragon claw gouges out of it. So obviously it was done, you know, to get rid of flaws or whatever, but to do it in such a grotesque way, in such a basic way, I never got it until eventually I got it, and you see enough of them, and you actually start to see the charm of it. It is unusual, but there is a certain charm to it, and so much so that I want to get one myself, an original custom built. Dave Begley. All right, thank you. Sorry to hear that you had that, but hopefully you're over it. Chip, I don't blame you. I think it has a certain charm. I will say that. I mean, this is still, in my opinion, better than a custom built, because the custom builts are still, they're very roughly shaped. You know, the actual basic shape before the dragon claws, they're just very basic shapes, and they're done in a very rough kind of way. But what you did get was a good thick-walled pipe, which, from what I understand, smoked very well. This pipe started life as a really nice author, which I actually sent a message to the commissioner, and I said, do you want the pipe as it is, or are you sure you want me to do the dragon claws? But he did want a custom built, and when he saw the pictures he was over the moon with it, so I'm happy that he's happy. At the end of the day, what the customer wants, the customer gets. You know, it's a commission. So, but I wanted to give him that opportunity because it really turned out really nice. It's got a lovely smooth finish, polished finish, and the shape is just classic author, you know, chunky author. Drilling is on point. Hopefully he'll be happy with it. Well, time to reload, Bandit. Black coffee for a change. I also have this, which is an alcohol-free beer. Some of you might say, well, what's the point then? But I don't enjoy alcohol that much. It sends me, I just don't like the sensation of it. Whereas some people crave it. Thankfully, I don't. Anyway, my brother, I went to see my dad, who's staying at my brother's at the moment, and he bought on some website, I forget what it's called, a box of 24 bottles for £8, and it tastes like beer. It's actually very, very good. So he gave me a pack of 4 to take away, which was very nice of him. So that was that one. And you've probably seen this one as well. This is a freeform Dublin with an amazing pearlescent stem with an LCS wave. Beautiful grain. That's on the website. And finally, there's that Carve Blast Rhodesian with a green swirly stem with a brass band. Brass band. A really nice Carve Blast. Lovely looking pipe, lightweight. It's about 30 something grams. What got me into pipe making? Well, pipe smoking got me into pipe making. I was smoking a pipe for a few months. I mean, many of you will have heard the story already. But I was smoking a pipe for a few months. I got really hooked into it. I became very, very sort of completely besotted with the whole hobby of collecting, smoking, chasing up pipes, chasing up tobaccos. I had a great time in the first 18 months or so, 2 years. I really enjoyed it. You know, a lot of people, and they say to you, don't chase those unicorn blends, don't chase those difficult to get pipes, just buy stuff over the counter and enjoy it, you know, get to know it. And that's a valid school of thought. But I actually enjoyed the chase. And I would say, if you enjoy the chase, you do it. You do the hobby whichever way you enjoy. Both ways are good. What you might find, though, is after a few years, you'll settle down into the other way, which is what I'm doing with OGS. I'm just settled on that tobacco, and I don't need to chase other tobaccos. And because I had that journey in the beginning, I have enough of those unicorn blends that anytime I did want to dip into those, I can. But after I smoked for a few months, I picked up a couple of hobby blocks. So you'd buy a block which was pre-drilled. Sometimes they'd come already with a stem as well. And just, you know, I just wanted to lark about. I had no intentions of making pipes whatsoever. But it was just, you know, as part of the pipe smoking hobby, I picked up a couple of hobby blocks. I shaped them. I bought a few more, shaped those, and then eventually people, because, you know, I did everything to do with my pipe hobby on my channel, so people just said, you know, they'd buy it. And I remember the first pipe I ever sold, I sold for £90, I think, which was huge. You know, if you consider that at the moment, I'm still, you know, around double that after 4 or 5 years of making pipes. Considering that, to start off and sell a pipe at 90 quid was really very good. and it kind of went from there. I bought a bunch of hobby blocks and eventually bought a lathe. I went up to Blakemore Briars, and Mike Billington let me have a go on his lathe, and from then on it kind of took off. Once I got used to my lathe, that was it. I was up and running. I was making, like almost a pipe a day, and I'm still doing that on the days that I work. At the moment it's been very hard, with my mum being the way it is and my father being very fragile. So and also moving into here, this took a couple of weeks and I still not finished, but I decided I have to start making pipes, so I've started. But that's really how it's just an extension of smoking pipes, really. You can buy a hobby block, just buy a hobby block that's pre-drilled. You can get them online, you can buy them on eBay, you can buy them, I think GQ might even have them, or if not GQ, one of the English websites I'm sure has hobby blocks. You can buy them from America, so you just have to wait a bit for it, but you can buy them on Vermont Freehand. He's got a huge selection of that stuff. To make a living from it is not easy. It's very, very hard to do that. There's really a very select few in the world who actually make a very good living from it. You wouldn't want to drop, if you've got a job, you wouldn't want to drop it in favor of pipes, making pipes, at least not initially. If you start making pipes and you become very, very good and become famous, and your pipes can sell, I would say for £500-600 each, then yes, and you can knock one out one a day, then yeah, that would be sustainable. But as your only job, otherwise it's a bit tough to do that. So I would say just get a hobby block, and as long as you've got some form of sanding, a way to do sanding and filing, you should be good to go. You certainly don't need a lathe to start with. I was making pipes for like a year and a half before I had a lathe. I've made the odd ashtray and the odd tamper, but it's not a good use of my time, if I'm honest with you, Daniel. To make an ashtray which is sellable, interesting, just to make a bowl, anybody can do that. Anybody with a lathe. It's not exciting. I made a few, I thought they were nice, they didn't sell. I gave one away and I kept one myself. In fact, I think I gave them both away in the end. I don't actually have one now. I think Josh has one. Maybe I sold one, I don't remember, but I don't have them anymore. I made two. Yeah, like I say, it's just not even as a package, whilst it looks nice, it may be when I'm a little bit further down the line, possibly. I look at people like Tom Eltang, for instance. He sometimes does a set, but he's charging for that, something like €2,000. So it's worth his while to do it, to sell it as a set. But for me, Bandit, as long as you approach it as doing it for enjoyment and you're not too worried about the result, then go ahead and do it. If it's going to frustrate you, then maybe, go ahead and do it as a hobby. Do it as something to pass the time. If it works out well, bonus. But otherwise, don't get too hung up about it, because then you won't enjoy it. You need to enjoy it. At this moment in time where I'm at with my pipe making, I just need to make pipes, because that's where, for me anyway, where the revenue is at the moment. Hi Elvin, how you doing? Because to make a decent tamper, a decent one, it could take a few hours as well, and in those few hours I could make another pipe. And how much can you charge for a tamper? You can't charge much more than 20 or 30 pounds for a tamper. It's just not a good use of my time. I don't know what you mean by a birth pipe, Daniel. Oh, their birth date on it. Yeah, you could do that, I suppose. I mean, you guys have seen my first pipe. I mean, that thing was... It just looks like a hunk of wood with 2 holes in it. But it smoked. It still smokes. I mean, I don't smoke it, but it can smoke. Hi Andrew. Mentioned you in dispatches a little bit earlier. We're talking about this tobacco and the LJ Peretti tin. Yeah, it should be there somewhere, and if you go back to the first videos, it's probably within a few months of that. I didn't try the 150th. I thought maybe we'd be doing that together. I don't know what we still need to sort of get things together on the Zoom, but I wasn't sure if we were doing that or that. Or that. So I've kept it. I mean, I was going to smoke this, but I thought I better keep it and maybe we'll do that together, but we'll see. Yeah, a sandblasting cabinet is definitely on the shopping list. Yeah, that is a pain in the neck that you can't go to Oldest. I agree with you on that. You can do it in studio. You can still do it in studio. I don't know why they took that button off. I'm sure there's a reason for it, which is to their advantage. Yeah, I'm sure it's something to do with the algorithms. They don't want people searching for older ones, possibly because they don't get a lot of views on them. Possibly, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's quite fun from time to time to look back at the old videos. I'm just not sure on this one how to sand it, because when I had it on the lathe, I couldn't get into these sort of tight areas here. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try, but it's possible that I might end up rusticating this bottom bit. I don't know if I'll be able to successfully get the shape that I'm looking for. We'll have to see. It's an interesting top half. A very, very nice grain on it, on the top half, so I want to keep that smooth. A little bit top heavy now that I look at it, but it's got some nice curves on it. Nice bit of smooth and plateau on the top, and a killer stem. Absolutely gorgeous. You can't see it really now, but the stem on this is just amazing. I think this back is done. Yes, Patrick, that's a good description. It's an interesting pipe. Other than that, I think that's basically it. I don't really have much else to talk about. The workshop is bedding in nicely. I've still got an issue with my buffing because outside, in the garage outside, I used my old lathe for buffing duties, and the ratios on the gearing on that lathe allowed me to get a good range of buffing speeds. So I could get a really high buffing speed for heavy duty work, and I could get a slow buffing speed for sort of polishing and that kind of thing. On this lathe, the ratios of the gears are very different, and the slow speed is fine, but to get the highest speed for sort of doing heavy duty work on the stems, I have to change the gears in order to do that, and it's too much hassle to do that every single time. So I've cleared a little space here on the workbench further down. I've moved the big sanding wheel over, so I may well just bring that lathe in. I didn't want to. I wanted to have a lathe out there as well, but I may well have to do that. I do have another motor which I could use, possibly. But what I do find is that when you're spinning mops, especially the bigger mops, there's quite a lot of centrifugal force, and unless it's really secured down properly, you're running the risk of it going on a journey. And the thing is that when you have a motor, in order for it to be side on, you have to turn it sideways, which you can do. It's no big deal. But good night, David. Thank you for joining. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see. I'll have to dig up one of the other motors that I have and see if that will do the job enough. I've got a feeling that it won't. And I've got a little motor which, that green motor that I used for a long time on my workbench for my shaping wheel. That one will probably be fine, but I have no way of securing it down because it's a portable device with a handle, and it already danced across the workbench, and I had to send it off to Phil, and he fixed it for me very generously. But I don't know how to secure it to the bench because it's, as I say, it's in its own shell, and it's quite weighty, and it sits, and it's fine for reasonable speeds, but for really high speeds, it's I have to find a way of securing it, basically. I might be able to open it up, drill through, and just screw it down to the bench. I might be able to do that. I've also had an issue with the electricity because there's quite a load now with the bandsaw, the lathe, and a few times now the fuse is blown when I've turned the lathe on. So I spoke to an electrician actually earlier this evening. He's going to pop in and have a look and give me a quote to bring a new supply in from the fuse box downstairs. So that's going to cost me a pretty penny. But at least I know that I've got a decent electrical supply. What is the one thing I learned about pipe making? I wish that's an excellent question, Daniel. That I wish I knew at the beginning. Probably cutting the slot on a stem, because I stayed away quite a bit from making my own stems, from hand cutting stems in the beginning. But now it doesn't hold any fear for me. I'm quite happy making stems. And I think now I'm making the stems more than I'm using the preformed ones. This is the latest one, as you can see, and I think my stem shapes are pretty good. I'm very happy with them. I think they're proportional, they're well shaped. The taper is nice on them. If I do a tapered one, or if I do a wave one, I think they work out well. Who did I learn pipe making from? That actually happened. I'm sure some of you remember it. That actually happened live in one of my live sessions, and I was guided by two people. One of them was Glenn, Drop Bear Woodworks, and the other guy, I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but it was him and another guy who really held my hand through. It was 3 or 4 separate live sessions where we went from beginning to end making a pipe. And although my pipe making is different, very different now, but the foundation of it is still from those few live videos that those two guys helped me. That's my foundation of the basic rules of pipe making still are based on that. So I'm forever grateful to them for that. But obviously, you hone your skills and you develop ways of doing things, as you go along. But certainly, that was the basis of my pipe making. P-lips, I have no interest in making P-lips. It's not to say I would never make one. I just, at the moment, I have nobody has ever asked me. I don't think if anybody's ever asked me for one. Yeah, so the comfort of the stems is all about the bit. It's all about this bit here. The rest of it is more about the shaping and the proportions and the design and all of that. But this bit here, right at the end, that's where it's all at. You've got to learn to make that comfortable, because the rest of the pipe could be stunning. It could be the best pipe in the world, but if the bit is uncomfortable, you're not going to reach for it. You want to cut a pipe that's going to be comfortable in your mouth. So that's an extremely crucial part of pipe making, is to make a comfortable bit. Yep, that's done. Well, Patrick, it's been a long time since you've had one of my pipes, so I think they're even more comfortable now than since that Hawkbill, I think, was the last one you bought from me, Patrick. What have you got? 3 pipes from me, Patrick? 2 or 3 pipes, have you, of mine? I think Jeff and Josh are have got up amongst the top of the league. You've got 3. I thought we had 2 or 3. Nice, Texas. I'm happy you're enjoying it. You've got 3, Daniel. Good for you. I know you've got the one I made for your birthday, the mortar one. I don't remember which other ones you have. Yeah, so Jeff has got in the teens. I don't remember the number. Josh has got also must be around 20, and there's another guy in the Far East who's got a similar number. You've got 5, Patrick. Yeah, it creeps up on you. I didn't realise you had 5. Nice. Thank you. I think I've been averaging around 150 pipes a year. This year might end up being less because I've just had so much going on. I'm trying to remember what I started them. Was it 500 or 600? Because if it was 500, then I'm upping the average. Alright, cool. Oh right, the mortar with the blue stem and the one that's the stepped one that my son had. Yeah, I think I know which one you mean. Let me see when that was. Pipe 500. I think it was this year, pipe 500, 10 months ago. Oh, in that case, I'm doing pretty well. I didn't realise that. So that was January. Pipe 500 was around January time, and we're now on pipe 669, I think. So 170, and we've still got a month to go, I guess. So maybe we'll get to around the 200 mark, which is pretty good. I mean, you look at people like Ian Walker and Mike Billington. These guys churn out hundreds and hundreds of pipes a year. I mean, they do club pipes for people for different clubs. You know, they're knocking out a lot of pipes. I've yet to do a club pipe. I haven't yet had that commission from a club to do multiple pipes. I guess I'm a bit early on still for that, maybe. But I'm not sure. I'm in two minds about that. You know, doing 20 or 30 or 40 of the same pipe could be a challenge. It's nice to have a guaranteed income, but you have to obviously subsidize the cost of that. You know, if you're doing say 40 or 50 pipes, you've got to sell them a lot cheaper. So I'm not pushing for that. You know, I'm quite happy continuing the way I am at the moment. My favorite. It's really hard to say. It's really, really hard to say because there's so many. And oftentimes I look back on my website or on my Instagram feed and I look back at the pipes that I've made in the past. And oftentimes I almost think to myself, did I really make that pipe? You know, because a lot of them are quite a departure from what I usually make. Some of them are really interesting. You know, things like the Calla Lily, which I made, which was a complete departure. The Crown series, I'm very, very proud of the Crown series. I still have one pipe left. I've taken it off the website now, but I still have one left, you know, the Castle one, which I might put back up for sale on the anniversary of the Queen's passing. But I've kept that Crown stamp, and I intend to resurrect it each year around the time on the anniversary of the Queen's passing, and maybe make a handful of pipes for that each year, just to make it something special, you know, like a limited run each year. I do want to do something for the king as well. I haven't come up with an idea yet, but I want to do something for King Charles. Are there any that I wish I kept? Oh, many, really. There's been a lot. There have actually been a lot like that. One of them was a sandblasted pipe. I've not done many. I've done maybe half a dozen sandblasted pipes, which I had sandblasted by Larison Pipes, who sadly no longer makes pipes. But he was very nice to me, and I sent him the pipes, and he would sandblast them. And I got my other one here. I kept one of those sandblasted pipes for myself, but there was another one which I had available for quite a long time, and it took me a long time to sell it, but I had my eye on it, and I so many times almost picked it up and lit it, but I never did. In the end, I sold it. I wouldn't say I regret it, but if I could turn the clock back, maybe that pipe I would. It was like a long shanked Dublin, but with quite a stubby shank, a tapered shank. I liked the blast on that, was fantastic. Some of the specialist pipes that I've done, like the shield pipes, the calla lily, probably not. Although it's probably my most intricate pipe that I've made, or one of the most intricate pipes that I've made, and I'm supremely proud of it because I call that pipe more of a sculpture, and I've yet to kind of do something similar. And yeah, I mean the Crown series, the ultimate one that I made, the Queen's, the one with the castle one with the 96 bricks and the 15 things on the top and the 7 rings. That one, I think I'm one of my proudest pipes that I've made, that I'm most proud of. It has a lot of meaning, a lot of thought went into it, a lot of design went into it. The one before that, the one with the engraved GR, that one also. Yeah, there's a lot of pipes which would have been nice to keep. Hi Jimmy. Blakemar, those are pipes which are standard shapes of his. So it's not that particular pipe that's available. It's not that pipe sat there and not got sold. It's you order one of those, he'll make you one of those. That's just like a template. So he's showing you a range of pipes that he makes. But each of those pipes he makes in lots of different finishes, lots of different stem finishes. You can have it in acrylic, you can have it in Cumberland, you can have it in ebonite, and you can have it sandblasted, you can have it rusticated, you can have it smooth, and then there's half a dozen different shades of stain that you can do. But what you're looking at is a template. It's not an actual pipe. You could order it and he'll make you one. He won't sell you that particular one in the picture, I don't think. That pipe was nice. It wasn't my favourite pipe, no. Paul has that pipe. I haven't seen him in ages, Paul. I hope he's well, actually. I'm going to send him a message. I haven't seen him in ages. Just hope he's well. There we go. Sent him a message. See if he gets it. Yeah, you can't beat the prices. Mike's prices are amazing. You get a great pipe for the money. Fantastic. I would heartily recommend. It's not for me to recommend his pipes. He's been doing it far longer than me, but still, they're great value for money. Probably the best value for money of any pipe in the world, if you ask me. There's nothing that approaches his pipes at that price. I mean, you can buy basket pipes, yeah, but his are, better than basket pipes. His basket pipes are even less. He's got basket pipes for like 15-20 quid. But you can buy a brand new pipe of his first. They're like 30, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. Carving designs into the bowls of pipes, yeah. It's not my thing, but it's very nice. I mean, I've done some carvings. There's obviously, strictly speaking, my Carve Blast, that's a carving. The Crown Series brick design, that's a carving. But if you're talking about faces and that kind of thing, then that's not my thing. That's a different art form completely, and that's a different skill set. I've never tried it, but it's not something that I do. Maybe one day I'll try it. Who knows? All right, folks, I think that's it for now. Thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure, enjoyable chat. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Bandit. Thanks for joining, Bandit. Welcome aboard. Haven't seen you before. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Patrick. Texas Piper. Pipes of Old. David, Rocking Steady. Andrew Sirigliano. Elvin. And everybody else, thank you very much for joining. A Maple Leaf carbon as a Canadian edition. Well, if you want to commission something, you certainly can do that. But just to make it randomly is not really what I do. My favorite smoking pipe. Well, I was saying earlier on, at the moment, it's my OGS pipes, and this is up there. These two are kind of vying for top position at the moment. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Catch you on the next one.